we basically don't have time. And there's always a saying when the big people talk, when the small guys comes, they just uh, do the baseline because Mr. Javi, we we together in so many committees under the government of the Gambia, especially at municipal level. He's that person who I really look up to. I look at him as a mentor. The high table there, all of them, Mr. Javi and Dr. Hydra, these are all great guys in this country. So whenever we meet people like this in panels, we don't talk much. We listen. Basically, my area of discussion is basically going to be on the end user side, which at the end of his speech, he basically mentioned almost everything that I supposed to talk about. Basically, us as a population. But just to uh, give a quick brief, I always say this in forums in the Gambia and beyond. That is, governments in Africa do not take ICT seriously. We have to be very frank, and we have to be honest with ourselves. Governments in Africa, they look at us as ICT guys as problem solvers. I want to send email. My email is not working. Let me call IT. IT comes, and IT makes sure you send your email. That's all. Where you understand and knows that governments don't take ICT seriously is let's look into our departments in government. How many institutions in government have a full-fledged ICT department with a director of ICT? We have to be honest with ourselves. I feel very passionate about things like this in forums and in engagements. But we have been talking about this for the past 8 years, and they are still listening. And they don't want to listen. You go to some institutions that are seen as national critical infrastructures. The ICT is either operating under the Director of Technical Services or is operating under, I don't know how to call it, a specific unit. In some institutions, in fact, ICT departments operate under admin and finance. We don't even have our own budget. Are they really taking ICT seriously? Do we think we'll be like Mauritius? It becomes a problem. For us as individuals, for us as users, Doctor has made mention of very, very important things in the area of the telecom sector, the telecom industry, more especially in terms of license. When we look at inwards, and the question comes again, do those people in fact sitting into those decisions making positions really understands the level of sensitivity of some of the issues that they are handling, that they are talking about? It becomes a problem. You take a director of finance and appoint him as the head of IT. You think he is going to take ICT department seriously? When requests comes for procurement of equipment, they're not going to take it seriously. Now, for us, as a general populace, we need to understand we own the system. And we need to secure the system. We need to protect the system. I sometimes have a genuine with people, and they will tell me, but I think my security depends on the ISP that is providing internet to me. I say, no, it doesn't work that way. It depends on the SLA you have with the ISP. The ISP's job stops at his points of presence. the rest is you. We don't take cognizance of the amount of data that we put on the internet, the amount of data that we supply. The Gambia with a population of less than 2 million in 2016, we are the most talked about country in Africa on the internet. Imagine, with a population of less than 2 million, we are the most talked about country in Africa on the internet in 2016. And for us at our level, Gambia Cybersecurity Alliance and also at the Africa Cybersecurity Alliance, the Global Cybersecurity Alliance, we are foreseeing we will surpass that figure this year. It has started. The rhetoric is ongoing. But are we taking cognizance of our own personal safety and our own personal security? I basically want to talk about the end users, our mobile phones, our laptops, our computers at homes, our digital life. But my boss has elaborated on those areas, so I don't just want to go there. Our digital profile belongs to us. If we don't own it, somebody will make best use of it. And we'll see them go. How many of us in this country depends on the internet to make money? Purely the internet, purely. Especially in the area of e-commerce, digital marketing. Like you go to our neighbors in Senegal, there are people who are digital marketing consultants. Events like this, you hire them because they have that high number of followers on social media platforms, and they'll be posting your events because they have 5 million, 10 million, 20 million followers. We have people in this country who have like 2 million, 1 million, 1.5 million followers, but they don't even know how to make money with that number of followers. Because we don't know the amount of data that we are provided out there. We can make a lot of money out of that. Coming to securing it, you provide the data. You own the data. You want to buy a SIM card, go to one of the GSM companies, and they ask you SIM card registration. At some point, as a security specialist, we believe SIM card registration is very, very paramount because it has something to do with national security. But who manages this data? Who controls this data? We have seen in the European Union, they have what we call the GDPR, the General Data Protection Regulation. And we, a small country in Gambia, we even benefited from the GDPR because the EU has forced Google to apply certain things within the European Union, and we are benefiting that. But our data have been collected. Our personal information, our personal health information are also collected. But do we ask where these data are kept? Do we ask where these data are kept? Who is responsible for the security of this data? How long is the GSM company going to keep my data? And if they have to disburse this data, what is the process that is to be followed? You know, I always tell people from 2019, I always tell people if ministries are to be awarded in this country, ministries are to be awarded like for the fantastic job that they are doing. For me, I will award it to the Ministry of Information. You know, Ministry of Information, Communication and Infrastructure is just one ministry. they alone cannot force the government to do certain things. So that is where we come as civil society organizations. We make serious noise. We advocate, we campaign for change. From 2015, we started making noise about data protection and privacy. And that is almost done. Government has come up, Moisi has come up with a data protection and privacy framework. We make noise about cybercrime because we believe that the Information Communication Act 2009 has some sections of cybercrime, which is very, very minimal, and it doesn't address the currently emerging cybercrimes. We make noise, and that has also been taken care of. And we hope and pray by come 2022, these laws will be in place. But you collected my data, and you store my data, and you're not telling me how you're going to use my data. And you're not telling me if the data is obsolete, how you're going to dispose this data. We've seen the likes of Gambia. Our previous ID cards was issued by a company called Gambia. We were there all of a sudden we saw a change in companies. Gambia was rolled out, and we have Simlex. Simlex is taking care of the national ID card with the driver's license, and Zetis is taking care of our biometric passport. And the immigration department itself is taking care of the old passport for Gambians abroad. Now the question comes. My 2014, 2015, 2016 ID card, where is the data? Even the government cannot tell us where this data is. And most instances, we think if things like this are happening, the most appropriate ministry that you should engage in this process is the Ministry of Information Communication Infrastructure. Sometimes you are surprised they are left out of this kind of engagements, and it becomes a surprise. So it's high time, as Dr. Riley mentioned, let's rise up and make the government to listen. Let's make them understand data is the new oil. And besides, government is making money out of us, and without us realizing it. So we need to make them understand these things are very, very important and they are sensitive. For our critical infrastructures, I cannot even talk about it. Doctor has elaborations in those areas. You talk of the likes of the grandparents, the Gambia Revenue Authorities, the Central Bank, the National Water and Electricity Company, the telecommunication companies. So every system is interconnected. Doctor said we have almost over 4.5 billion users on the internet. 4.5 billion. The world with a population of 7.8 billion. Just look at the gap. So it's high time we understand and take ICT and cybersecurity seriously. One of the experts once asked me in one of the cybersecurity conferences in South Africa and said, how do you have so much passion about cybersecurity, data privacy, especially in Africa? Looking at the country where you came from, the Gambia, the population, one state in Nigeria, its population is more than your population. And Nigeria is not making huge noise in Africa on cybersecurity. But only you're one of the loudest in Africa when you come in terms of cybersecurity. You're so passionate about this. Do you think your country has reached that level, putting up so much effort on awareness? I was like, I don't want my country to be like those countries that have suffered serious cyber attack. I don't want my country to be a safe haven for cyber criminals to drive investors out. That is why we are starting the awareness now to better prepare our people. So we don't have time. I want to really thank Moishi and also the sponsors of the event, UNESCO, for really funding this event. And we believe this is very, very important. And we hope and pray the director of ICD is here, that we will be having sessions like this frequently so that the level of awareness can reach the level where we really want it to reach. Thank you very much.
Okay, that was another wonderful deliverance from Mr. Bakulu.